Today, the Chicago White Sox could become the world champions. By the time the hour is up, there is a possibility that we have just won the World Series. There's also a possibility that we've just lost the World Series and we have to go back to the drawing board for a new offseason, or we could be headed for a Game 7. There are a lot of different potential scenarios we could be looking at in what is certainly going to be the biggest episode of this series thus far, because there's a real chance we are at the top of the baseball world. We just have to win 2 of our next 3 games. So far, we're in a very competitive, tied at 2 series against the Phillies. Game 3 at home, we really struggled. We lost 7-0. The offense didn't get rolling. Bryce Miller did not pitch very well. It just was not our night whatsoever. The Phillies scored 3 runs in the first. They added another in the second. They set the tone, and, well, we could not catch up. All the Phillies needed was one of those runs to win the game. We felt like we really had to show up in Game 4. We had lost 2 in a row. We choked Game 2 and just played horribly in Game 3. And luckily, we did win it by the final score of 4-3. Certainly was not a perfect game offensively, and we definitely hit the ball better in the first 2 games of the series in Philadelphia. But we did draw 7 walks to go along with 7 hits. No home runs in either of the 2 games. The power has been our team's biggest strength throughout the postseason, but we didn't homer in either game in Chicago. Ezra Valenzuela made the first start of his big league career. He went 3 innings, allowing just 1 run. Noah Schultz came in and was dominant, and then the rest of the bullpen did their thing to help us hold on to the win despite a late homer in the 8th by Luis Garcia to cut the lead to 1. So we've got Game 5 in Chicago, our final home game of the season, and then we go back to Philadelphia for Game 6, where some team will have an opportunity to clinch a World Series championship. With the struggles on offense, I feel like there's really one big change that we can make. Shane Schmidt, of course, really struggled early in the postseason. The moment looked too big for the 18-year-old rookie, and the guys we've replaced him with haven't really been much better. Between Ramos, Montgomery, and Escobedo, they've all been kind of bad. So my thought process is, why don't we start the player who hit the ball well in the regular season but has struggled in the postseason compared to the guys who have just struggled hitting the ball entirely this year? Sure, Shane is 1 for his last 23. He's really not playing well, but I think he's got a better chance to get going than the others. Hayden Wesneski will start in Game 5. He's been really good. He's only allowed 7 earned runs in 4 postseason starts. 5 of them, though, are homers, coming off the regular season where he only let up 10 in 150 innings. Not allowing homers was his strength during the regular season. Now it's become his weakness. Taj Bradley will get the start in Game 6, regardless if we win or lose the 5th game. Bradley's been really good throughout the course of the postseason, and we're going to need him to either save this season or end this season. Of course, the bullpen is going to need to produce as well. We're going to try to continue to use Ezra Valenzuela in creative ways, coming off the first start of his big league career in Game 4 against the Phillies, where he played well and overall has looked really good through the course of the postseason. We do have our 2 best starting pitchers playing today, and since this will be both of their final starts of the year, we can go all out. I'm not necessarily going to try to destroy their arms because I would like for Hayden Wesneski to be healthy next year, and that would not be fair to Taj Bradley to have his arm explode right before he enters free agency, because otherwise there's no way he would consider re-signing with us. But we can also be a little bit more aggressive with how we use the 2 of them, knowing that we're not going to be able to use them again after these starts if there is a Game 7. So here we are in Game 5, the final home game of 2029, and we're hoping to end off our home season with a win. It's now a best of 3 against the Phillies. It's just like a normal regular season series. 3 games, first to win 2, wins the series. Hayden Wesneski on the bump against the veteran Aaron Nola, who is a proven postseason performer and has made the All-Star team over each of the last 2 seasons despite not making one for a decade prior to that. Nola, however, has not pitched at all in the postseason, which will be a fascinating development as we take a look at the 2 lineups. Shane Schmidt making his first start since Game 1 of the ALCS against Minnesota. Hayden Wesneski has had an awesome postseason. The guy's not letting up base runners, a whip of .76. The one problem has been the homers. He's let up 5 in 21 innings after only allowing 10 in 150 regular season innings. But outside of the homers, he's been flawless in the postseason as he gets Gabriel Rincones to go down on the inside slider, retiring the side in the top of the first. As we go to the bottom half of the frame, we take a look at Aaron Nola, the veteran who had a good season with the Phillies. It could be a blessing or a curse that he hasn't pitched in a month, because on one hand, his arm is going to be loose. It's going to be ready to go. But could there be a factor of rust as well? He hasn't pitched in about a month. Kyle Teel gets a hold of this one into right center field. This one goes off the wall. 106 off the bat. Walks into second base with a double. Kyle Teel has not only been our best player this postseason, but he's been the best player in baseball this postseason. He has 8 homers, tied for second in an individual postseason ever. We'll see if we can drive him in as Luis Robert hits this one high in the air. Deep into center field, but it's not deep enough. It's caught by Crawford. We are going to risk it for the biscuit. Send Teel over to third. He's safe. Luis Robert really has not hit the ball that well in the World Series since his homer in Game 1. He only has 1 base hit, but he's also walked 5 times during those 4 games, which is impressive for a guy who doesn't walk that much. 2-2, runner on third for Edgar Caro. This one is going to be grounded to short. Ellie De La Cruz fields it cleanly. Throw to first is in time. So the White Sox get the extra base hit for Teel. They bring him 90 feet away from home, but are unable to drive him in. We'll go into the second, still scoreless. Aiden Miller leads things off for Philadelphia, the highest-rated player on the Phillies roster. 3-1. This one is grounded down the line. Good play by Edgar Caro. I've mentioned it a lot, but his defense at first base for a guy who really has not played much first base prior to the last couple of years is really impressive. Ellie De La Cruz now, 1-2. Swing and a miss on the high cutter. 6 up, 6 down. A great start for Hayden Wesneski. He looks really good, working on 4 full days of rest. He looks loose. He looks ready to go. His velo has been good. His movement has been good. And obviously these Phillies are not yet hitting the ball. We'll go bottom 2. Colson Montgomery has been hitless so far in the World Series. Looking to change that here. A weak grounder to short. Ellie De La Cruz. It's going to be a tough play. Throw to first. Not in time. An infield single for Montgomery, snapping his hitless streak. Had nothing going through the first 3 games. Did not play in Game 4 with the Phillies starting a lefty, Andrew Abbott. That'll bring up Cam Smith. He has not hit the ball well himself in the World Series as he goes down on the knuckle curve. Hasn't really been the same since he got dinged up towards the end of the Minnesota series. Shane Schmidt back in the starting lineup, the 1-1. This one is hit high and somewhat deep into center. Justin Crawford will make the play, and we are still scoreless going into the third. White Sox with a couple of base hits, but no further damage. The Phillies offense with nothing going for them so far, and the 7-8-9 hitters due up. Justin Crawford leads things off for the Phillies. Count is even 1-1. And Crawford hits this ball high and deep into right center. Luis Robert sprinting as fast as I've ever seen him at the wall. It's gone! Justin Crawford scrapes it over the fence by mere inches. And the Phillies strike first. It's 1-0. The lawn ball continues to be an issue for Hayden Wesneski. Does not allow any base runners in the first 2 innings, but then the Phillies homer in the third. Granted, that ball wasn't hit that well. It barely got over the fence, but it did. That's what's important. Doesn't matter if it goes 380 feet or out of the ballpark. A home run is a home run at the end of the day, and it is a 1-0 lead for the Phils. That'll bring up Davis Schneider, last year's World Series MVP, as he sits 3-2. The pitch from Wesneski, swing and a miss on the circle change. Hayden looking to get back into a rhythm after allowing the early home run. Pedro Pajes now up for the Phillies. He's largely been a non-factor offensively as he puts it on the ground. Should not have swung at that pitch. Hayden Wesneski's location largely has been really good. He is fooling these Phillies batters, keeping things right on the edge of the zone with a lot of late movement. 2-2, Turner grounds it right back to second. Hayden Wesneski's faced off against 10 batters, and he's retired 9 of them. He's done really well so far tonight, but the one base runner, a homer. That continues to be the issue throughout the postseason for a guy who had one of the best home run rates in all of baseball during the course of the regular season. Bottom 3, White Sox got to get something going. Why did Corey Julks swing at that? Knuckle curve in the dirt, low and inside. Great pitch by Nola. Clearly the month off has helped him a lot more than it's hurt him. He looks awesome. 2-2 for Barney Wagner. This one is chopped over to third. Backhanded throw. Aiden Miller in time with the scoop by Harper. Wagner had the 2 homers in Game 1 against the Phillies, but since then has largely been quiet himself. Kyle Teel on the ground. Nola deflects it. Throw to first is in time. through 3. The Phillies lead at 1-0. Aaron Nola and Hayden Wesneski both pitching very well. The two teams have combined for just 3 base runners up to this point as we move into the 4th. We'll see if Wesneski can continue to look good. He's got the heart of the order coming up. That'll start with the second baseman, Luis Garcia, who goes down looking on the low slurve. Wesneski's strikeout rate has continued to improve throughout his career. It's carried over into the postseason. He's now at 4 tonight. 2-2 away. Miller swings at a pitch he should not have and lines it out to second. Caught by Marte. Hayden Wesneski has pitched a brilliant game. I mean, the home run aside, he looks awesome. He's absolutely doing his job, but he's going to need some run support. Luis Robert swinging and a miss. Knuckle curve kind of down the middle. That's about as good of a pitch to hit as he could have asked for. But Aaron Nola generates another whiff, his 3rd punch out of the game. Full count for Edgar Caro. Wow, that is a good take. As he draws ball 4 for a walk. That pitch was in the strike zone. I mean, look at the bottom left. I mean, clear as day. That was a really bad call by the umpire, but we'll take that as Marte swings and misses at the sinker. Now the count is 2-2 for Cattell, looking to take advantage of the break we were given with Caro. And that was a close call as well. Hit the corner of the zone. Probably should have been called a strike. All postseason, these umpires keep giving us good calls. Did we bribe them? As Marte fouls that pitch off, count remains 3-2 for Cattell, who has really struggled with runners on base throughout the postseason. Ironic for a guy who historically has been so clutch, but he puts it on the ground. Are you kidding me? 3-6-3. Ball don't lie. The umpires tried to give us multiple calls there, but the Phillies forced the double play after all as we move into the 5th. Hayden Wesneski's only allowed 1 base runner. Aaron Nola's only allowed 3. It has been pitching brilliance between a pair of all-stars this past season. Ellie De La Cruz is up for Philadelphia. Wesneski's 69th pitch of the night. The pitch count's in a pretty good spot as this one is up the middle for a single. Remember with Hayden Wesneski, this is not a guy who regularly goes more than 80 pitches per outing, and he's been used a lot more frequently in the postseason, so I want to be smart with his usage. I recognize we're not going to get too much more out of him. Ellie for second, not in time! That is as good of a job as the White Sox could have done to get him out. Teal perfectly times the throw. Montgomery with an A++ tag at shortstop. Ellie De La Cruz is just that fast. Top speed of over 20 miles an hour. So a good job by the White Sox defense, but just better speed from Ellie. 2-1 here for Justin Crawford, looking to drive in the speedster who's in scoring position as he grounds it to first. Caro makes the play. Got to get this next out, though. If the runner beats out the throw to first, theoretically, Ellie would score to make it 2-0. It's Davis Schneider with Wesneski getting close to his last legs. The 2-1 is clobbered into left center field. Unlike the first homer, this one is long gone. Halfway up the seats in left center. 432 feet, and the Phillies lead at 3-0. Schneider's 3rd home run of the postseason. We kept Wesneski in for 1 batter too long, and Philly makes him pay. Schneider goes deep for the 2nd time in the World Series, and that was an absolute mammoth of a home run. So Hayden Wesneski's day will finish with 4 2/3 innings, allowing 3 runs, and at surface value, that doesn't look that impressive. But he only allowed 3 base runners the whole game. That's really good. The problem is all 3 runs scored, and 2 of them came off of homers. That's been the thing for Hayden Wesneski throughout the postseason. Throughout the entire season, he's let up less base runners than any starting pitcher in the league, and his whip somehow was even lower in the postseason. And after today, it's going lower. But he's allowing way too many home runs. I don't know what happened here in October with the long ball, but we're going to take him out here with his energy depleted, and we are going to replace him with the righty Dre Jameson. Facing off against Pages, the 3-2, and this one is hit well! In the left! Julks can only watch it fly, it's 4-0! Back-to-back home runs. Pedro Pages, his 2nd of the postseason, arguably the 2 weakest hitters in the Phillies lineup. Slated in the 8 and 9 slots in the batting order, hit back-to-back home runs. This game was tight, it was 1-0. And now all of a sudden, we've got a big deficit to overcome with an offense that hasn't shown many signs of life today. Trey Turner hits it near the warning track in center. Lou Bob makes the play, but not before the Phillies score 3. 2-run homer for Schneider. Solo shot for Pages, and the White Sox have a lot of work to do, trailing 4-0 into the bottom of the fifth. We only have 2 hits and 1 walk so far today. That is just not enough. Got to get something rolling. Why not start immediately? Colson Montgomery snaps out of the slump. Oh my God, did the fan just catch that with one hand? That might be the most unbelievable fan play I've ever seen. Aside from the fact that Colson Montgomery just hit a 440-foot nuke in Game 5 of the World Series at maybe the most important time for us, that fan just made an unbelievable play catching a 113-mile-an-hour home run with his bare hand. Can we look at that again? I mean, I should be more excited about the home run. He clobbered that ball. But, my Lord, get this guy on the Bears. They could really use him. So it went off the shrubs, and he caught it off the bounce. That is unbelievable. Didn't have a glove or nothing. He used his bare hand. As Cam Smith goes down looking on the fastball, coming in at 93. 4th strikeout of the game for Nola. That'll bring up the number 8 hitter, Shane Schmidt. First at bat, hit it fairly well into center. Second at bat, draws a walk. Good job. All we need him to do is get on base. And we'll see if Corey Julks, who hasn't hit the ball very well throughout the postseason, but has had some very timely hits, can deliver another one here. The 1-1. Down the line and fair into left. We're going to have a big decision here with Schmidt. Ultimately, we're going to hold him at third. Yeah, I guess maybe not that much of a decision. By the time he got there, Elly De La Cruz had the ball. So now there's 2 runners in scoring position. Tying run is at the plate. We can fully bring ourselves back into this game. Wagner, grounded to short. De La Cruz makes the play. That does score Schmidt, however, as it's now 4-2. We can bring it within 1 with a base hit. We can tie it with a homer, and look who's up. Kyle Teel, 8 for 18, 3 homers in the World Series, 8 long balls throughout the course of the postseason. There's nobody we would rather up in this spot. The 3-2 for Teel. This one is skied well into left, has some carry at the wall, and it is caught. Not a bad inning, at least offensively. The Phillies score 3. We retaliate with 2, and it looks like the White Sox are not going to be an easy out here for the Phillies. We're not going away without a fight. Trailing by 2 into the 6th in a World Series that is tied at 2. So Drey Jameson will only have faced off against the 2 batters. Since he allowed the homer, I didn't really want to keep him in. And the Phillies have a lot of lefties coming up anyway. So we're going to bring in the lefty, John King. 4.91 ERA and 7 1/3 postseason innings. Luis Garcia will get us started. The 2-2, and he goes down on the inside sinker. Very nice pitch by John King for the first out of the inning. Now that'll bring us to the right fielder, Gabriel Rincones Jr. I don't know why they still insist on having him in the 3-hole, as this one goes into left center. Lou Bob cannot make the play. What is Corey Julks doing? Why was he right next to Luis Robert as he tried to catch the ball? It's a triple for Rincones. Lou Bob is going for the ball. He called off Corey Julks. So why is Corey Julks not behind him playing for the miss? Had he done that, Rincones probably would have only gotten a single, maybe a double. I don't know what on earth Corey Julks was thinking. That is horrible, horrible defense. So now there's a runner 90 away from home, and they're going to score him because of the blunder by Julks. Miller grounds out to second. Marte's going to get the out at first, but Rincones is able to make it home successfully to make it a 5-2 ball game. Full count now with 2 away, and the base is empty for Harper, and he draws a walk, so the Phillies get a late base runner here with 2 away, trying to add to the lead and negate the big inning we just had, as that'll bring up the shortstop, Elly De La Cruz, who is a full count himself, and he also draws a walk. So the Phillies get back-to-back walks, 2 on, 2 away. We're not going to keep John King in the game. We're going to bring in Mr. High Leverage, Tony Santillan, who has been up and down in the postseason. Of course, he had that game, too, against the Phillies, where he had a large part in completely blowing the game. As that'll bring up Justin Crawford. Looks at the inside fastball. Big spot for Crawford, who homered earlier in the game during his first at-bat. Coming off a career-high 4.2 WAR this season as Crawford hits it into left. That pitch was very clearly mislocated. We are lucky he didn't hit it better, as Julks will make the play this time. Phillies add in a run driven in by Miller. as Landon Raup will replace Nola, who pitched 4 really good innings. Got away from him a little bit in the 5th, but was able to somewhat get out of it. Raup has allowed 6 runs in 7 innings. 6, 7 this postseason, as that'll bring up Luis Robert with a 3-1 count, and he draws another walk. His at-bats have been so good throughout the World Series. He's not hitting the ball well, but his approach has been better, which is odd. Caro swinging to this on the curveball. What a pitch. In the dirt, plenty of movement. That was filthy. Not much we can do there but tip our cap. That was really impressive. 1-1 for Ketel Marte. Should not have swung at that. It goes in the ground. De La Cruz over to Garcia, over to Harper. It's a 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. Ketel Marte grounds into yet another, his 2nd of the game. He continues to be unclutch Ketel. In the Guardians franchise a few years ago, we literally nicknamed him Clutch Ketel. Now he's the opposite. Montgomery with a diving play at short. Throw to first, not in time. Good hustle by Turner. We've kept Santillan in the game, and it's so far been a good decision. He's pitched pretty well. Now against Luis Garcia. The count is 2-1. Turner goes for 2nd, and he is safe. That time the throw not as good by Kyle Teal. Santillan's pitching clutch rating is amazing. Maybe it's not the worst thing that they now have a runner in scoring position. 2-2 on the way for Garcia as he fouls off the circle change. Big spot here for the Phillies. They can really take command of this game with a 4-run lead as Garcia grounds it to first. Good scoop by Caro. He tags to base, and it will remain 5-2. We will stretch, and then we will head to the bottom of the 7th inning, where an old friend will come in. It's James Karinchak, who got 2 outs in Game 1 of the World Series. He also allowed 2 homers, though, hoping his performance can be a little bit better. That James Karinchak trade really ended up being one of the best moves of the series, getting Wisniewski, all because of the wheel, all because of a trade I did not want to make. Thank you, wheel. As Colson Montgomery draws a walk, he's had a great game, reaching base in all 3 of his plate appearances. Shane Schmidt up the middle. That goes for a hit. Schmidt has reached twice today. And hold on, we might be in business. Tying run is up with 1 away. This is our chance to make a splash. We've got to cut into the lead, and we've got to do it now. Julks pops it into right. That one will be caught by Rincones. We're not going to move up either of the runners. So that presents a huge at-bat upcoming for the top of the order. Barney Wagner due up, and it will not be Karinchak who faces off against him. The Phillies would rather go to one of their better relievers, which is pretty understandable. I mean, this is a huge spot in this series. With the tying run up for the White Sox, the Phillies have to get out of this. It'll be Miguel Castro, whose numbers throughout the course of the postseason are not very good, but a player who is historically proven over the years with Philadelphia. We'll see what the rookie Wagner can do as that one gets away, the outside slider. Barney Wagner, despite having less experience than anybody on our roster, has as good of plate discipline as anybody on the team. Got to throw strikes to him. He's not swinging at that. It was close, but he lets the low slider go. You know Wagner, as a young guy, certainly wants to be the hero in this spot, but he's just got to get on base. 5-pitch walk. We'll gladly take that. The bases are loaded. Tying run is on. Go-ahead run is up, and it's Kyle Teal. Our best player versus our biggest kryptonite. The unstoppable force against the immovable object. Teal, the 1-1, skies it behind the plate. Pajes is under it, and he makes the play. The unstoppable force was stoppable on this day. The White Sox leave the bases loaded. Oh my goodness, that is such a buzzkill. Carlos Estevez will come into the 8th. He, along with Santillan, of course, was the other guy who completely choked Game 2. His postseason numbers are not great, but of course he did have a very strong regular season. 3, 4, 5 hitters due up. Rincones draws a walk, an early base runner for the Phillies looking to add some insurance. We've seen the White Sox stack up some base runners over the last few innings, even if they haven't taken advantage. Miller liner to first. Caro clips the runner by his shoe for a double play. What a heads-up maneuver by Edgar Caro to quickly tag Rincones to get 2 outs there. Harper flies it into right center. Cam Smith is under it. He'll make the play. Good inning for Estevez. Great defense at first base by Edgar Caro. Still 5-2. We go bottom 8. Josh Spores is in for the Phillies. He's allowed 2 runs in 6 postseason innings. They didn't really use him that much early in the postseason, but they've had him out there damn near every game in the World Series. Lou Bob, liner to second, caught by Garcia for the first out of the inning. The White Sox looking to send the fans home happy for one more time this season, but trailing by 3, it's an uphill battle. Good at bat for Edgar Quero, though. He draws his second walk of the game. Oh, dear. Ketel Marte with a runner on base. He's already grounded into 2 inning-ending double plays. Good take. Slider up and in. Another pitch that they should have called a strike, but did not. 3-2 for Marte. Fouls it off. Him and Spores working a battle. Just please do not put this ball on the ground. I implore of you. He's grounded out 3 times today. Inning-ending double plays in each of his last 2 at-bats. As he skies it high and deep. Into right. At the track. At the wall. It is caught. You know what? He didn't ground into a double play, so I can't be too upset. That being said, it is disappointing that that ball did not go over the fence because, my golly, it was close. Off the bat, I thought it was. They're going to take Spores out of the game, and the Phillies are going to bring in their closer, Orion Kerkering, a little bit earlier than normal, but they really want to get this final out. It'll be potentially a 4-out save opportunity for Kerkering, who has been elite in the postseason this year. 8 1/3 scoreless innings. He is 6 of 6 in 7 games. 6-7. As Colson Montgomery flies it into left, it will be caught. Still 5-2 going into the 9th. A 3-run deficit for the White Sox. If we do lose this game, we are really going to be kicking ourselves over that 7th inning when the bases were loaded and we had our best hitter up at the plate. Brock Burke will come out of the pen for the 9th. This will be Burke's 4th appearance in the World Series. Boy, we missed him in the first 2 postseason series because he, unsurprisingly, has been amazing. That one gets by him, though. Ellie De La Cruz with a leadoff single. And the Phillies open up the inning with a base runner. We'll see if they can take advantage, add some more insurance, because we know this White Sox offense can get hot at a moment's notice. Crawford goes down looking on the circle change. Nice pitch by Burke for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Davis Schneider, who had the big homer back in the 5th, the play that really put the Phillies in a good spot. Quero forgot to tag the base. Won't matter, they turn 2 anyway. 3-6-3 double play. Good inning for Burke. We will enter the bottom of the 9th inning. 7, 8, 9 hitters due up as Cam Smith strikes out looking on the sweeper. First out of the inning, great pitch by Kerkering. Shane Schmidt hits that ball really high and really deep in the left center, but not deep enough. It's caught by Schneider for the 2nd out of the inning, and this game will come down to the bat of Corey Julks. The White Sox looking to avoid a 3-2 deficit as this one is chopped foul. We're lucky that wasn't fair. That would have ended the game. White Sox now down to their final strike. Phillies looking to take a 3-2 lead going back to Philly. 1-2, swing and a miss on the sweeper. The Phillies win Game 5 of the World Series. They take a 3-2 series lead and will have a chance to clinch it at home, needing to just win 1 of the final 2 games. Winning the World Series will be a lot tougher of a task for Chicago, who will have to win both games on the road in the loudest environment in Major League Baseball. And you best believe it's going to be louder than we have ever seen it at Citizens Bank Park, as the White Sox look to put an end to Red October, but hopefully not too soon of an end, because we got to get to Game 7. First things first. Not our best game. The offense did not hit the ball well. We only had 5 hits in this game. Got a little bit going in the 5th, but man, that 7th inning, we had the bases loaded. We had our chance and did not take advantage. Schneider, Paz, Crawford, all homer. The Phillies really didn't hit it that well either. 7 hits, 3 walks. Nola was good. Bullpen was really good. Our offense just didn't give us enough. We did draw 6 walks. I don't know what it is. We were barely drawing walks in the first 2 series, and now everybody's walking against the Phillies. I think we've gotten more walks than hits in the World Series, which on one hand, it's nice that we're getting these good at-bats, but on the other hand, we're not hitting the ball well. All 3 games, I feel like, at home, the offense was kind of lackluster. That sets us up for Game 6. Cody Hosey is healthy, but he's not eligible to come off the injured list, so we will not get to see him. It's an elimination game for the White Sox. We're 4-0 in elimination games this postseason. This team has played at their best with their backs against the wall. This team not only performs well against pressure, but loves it, embraces it, enjoys it. But we also have to keep in mind that of those 4 elimination wins, 3 of them were at home. against two teams who did not win more than 84 games this year. It's going to be a little bit different. We've got to win 2 games on the road with the loudest environment in Major League Baseball against one of the best teams in baseball. The Phillies are a lot better than Seattle and Minnesota. They won 98 games this year. They won the World Series last year. They've had one of the most dominant single-team postseason runs in recent memory, and they're looking to win it all tonight. We're going to put this game and thus our season into the right arm of Taj Bradley, who's been the best pitcher on the team since we acquired him at the trade deadline. Largely similar lineup today for the White Sox as we rolled with in Game 5. Mitch Keller will take the bump for Game 6, not George Kirby. Kirby started in Game 1. Keller started in Game 2, so I would have thought it would have been Kirby tonight, but the Phillies are going to hold on to him for a potential Game 7. While Keller, in just his 4th postseason start, looks to etch his name in Philadelphia sports lore as Barney Wagner goes down on the high fastball to get things started. That'll bring up Kyle Teal, who was electric in the first 2 games here in Philadelphia. Up the middle, nice scoop by Keller for the second out of the inning. It is a hitters-friendly park, keep in mind. Teal took advantage of 3 homers in the first 2 games. Luis Robert swinging and a miss on the sweeper. A 1-2-3 start for Keller as we go to the bottom half of the inning and we take a look at Taj Bradley. We have used him a whole lot this postseason. This is his 6th start. 27 innings, 2.67 ERA, .93 whip. His final game of the season for the White Sox, maybe his last game here ever. A free agent at the end of the year. What a run it has been for Taj Bradley over these last few months. I just need one more from you, brother. Give me one more. As Luis Garcia strikes out to get things started. Gabriel Rincones now the 1-1. And this pitch will go over to third. Wagner, the scoop, sets his feet, throw to first in time. Good inning for Taj Bradley. It only lasted 10 pitches, and that's a big deal because we're going to need him to pitch a while today. Unless he pitches horribly, we need 6 or 7 innings out of him. We need to preserve the bullpen as much as possible for a potential Game 7 because I don't feel confident with any of the guys we could start in Game 7. Colson Montgomery goes down on the slider. Another punch out for Keller. Cam Smith now. Count is even 2-2 for the struggling Smith, who strikes out again. He's too good to not play, but he's just been a total non-factor in the World Series, and he was playing so well before that. Miller will lead off the inning here for the Phillies, the 3-2 from Taj Bradley, and this one will go over the diving glove of Colson Montgomery, first base runner at the game for either team, and Aiden Miller single. Bradley's got to get through these innings quick. As I mentioned earlier, I want to preserve the bullpen as much as possible. We know Taj Bradley's not going to pitch again, so we want to get all that we can out of him. Bradley cannot make the play. Marte does get it. Throws out Harper at first. I was a little worried that was going to be a base hit. We could have gotten a double play, but at least we got one out. That'll bring up Ellie De La Cruz now. Count is even, 2-2. This one is grounded over to first. Caro will make the play. Tags the base. Miller does advance to third. However, that'll present a huge opportunity for Justin Crawford, who homered in the first at-bat of the game in Game 5. 1-2. That one gets by Caro into right. And the Phillies strike first. Here in Game 6, it's 1-0. Justin Crawford with the RBI single. That'll bring up Davis Schneider, who homered himself in Game 5. Runner goes as Schneider hits it into left. Julks can only watch it. The Phillies lead it 3-0. Schneider's 4th home run of the postseason, and certainly the most deflating for the White Sox, who I think at this point are getting close to panic mode. Trailing 3-0 in the game, trailing 3-2 in this series. Certainly not the start to Game 6 we were looking for. We need Taj Bradley to pitch well, and we need him to pitch a while. It's that or we lose the World Series. I mean, we're putting the season into his right arm. Good strikeout against Pages, but not before the Phillies get 3. We also need the offense to show up. They hit the ball so well throughout the course of the postseason and so well in the first 2 games of the World Series. But the offense only homered once in the 3 games at home and just really was not that good. Just got to stack some base runners like this one. Schmidt getting plunked. 3-1 for Ketel Marte. Wow, he doesn't ground into a double play. Might be a different kind of double. We're going to hold Shane Schmidt at third. There's probably an 85% chance he would have been safe at home, but we need that run to score, and there's nobody out. I would like to think one of our next 3 batters can bring him in, especially with no force outs at any base other than first. If we can't bring him in, then that's a bigger problem in and of itself. As Julks goes down on the cutter. Great pitch by Keller. Are we maybe getting second guesses about keeping Schmidt at third? A little bit. That'll bring up Barney Wagner. 2-1. This should score him as it's flown into center. Crawford will make the play. Schmidt will look to score. Marte over to third. The Phillies are going to try to get the out at third, and it almost works. Marte is safe, however, and the run scores off the sacrifice, making it 3-1. Successful at bat for Barney Wagner. We've still got another runner 90 away from home. Kyle Teal really struggled with runners on base in Game 5, but he splits that one between the first and second baseman for a single, and it's 3-2. Good response from Chicago. We needed to clap back, and we do. The lead is within 1. That'll bring up Luis Robert. La Pantera singles into right, just his 3rd home run of the World Series. Yes, he's walked in every game, but we need some more hits like that one from our superstar. 2 on, 2 out. Base hit probably ties the game. 3-1 on the way for the first baseman, Edgar Quero. Ooh, that's a tough one. Probably a smart take, though, being ahead in the count, looking to draw the walk, but now the count is full. Runners will go. The pitch from Keller, looking to get out of the inning. Got him looking on the fastball. Quero was expecting the call there. We've gotten those calls all postseason. White Sox do bring in 2, though. A sac fly from Wagner and an RBI single by Kyle Teal to put us back into the game. Taj Bradley's got to pitch better, though. I am nowhere close to taking him out. We have to trust him. He's our best pitcher. He's been a superstar all year. He's been a superstar in the postseason, and he needs to be tonight as Rincones draws the walk. He's working on 6 days rest. He's working on more rest than normal. This game is on a Friday. The last time he pitched, Game 2 of the World Series, was on a Saturday. It's been almost a full week. As Miller goes down on the cutter, very good inning for Taj Bradley. A lot better than the second inning as it remains 3-2. Bradley looks laser focused as we move into the 4th. Cam Smith draws a walk. At least he gets on base here. That'll give the White Sox the tying run aboard once again. Ketel Marte cannot ground into a double play since there's 2 outs. Instead, he lines this one into center. Crawford charging. That one's going to drop. Runner to third. Risky decision, but it pays off as he slides in safe. 2 on, 2 away. Huge spot upcoming for Corey Julks. 1-1. This one is skied high into right, and that one will be caught. 3-2 going into the bottom of the 4th. We had 2 more runners on. We've had too many innings with runners on base where we have not been clutch throughout this World Series. It's almost like this has been an issue on our channel for like 3 years. Anyway, we'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Bryce Harper leads it off for the Phillies. Count is full, 3-2. Pitch on the way from Bradley. That one is high for ball 4. The last thing we need is for the Phillies to stack some base runners and really rock our ace. Because, again, we need multiple more innings out of him. De La Cruz goes down on the 12-6. Good pitch there by Bradley. His 4th strikeout of the night. Crawford now behind in the count, 1-2. He struggled throughout the postseason, but has been good in this episode. Singles into center, and the Phillies have 2 runners on. The bottom 2 hitters are due up, but Davis Schneider has homered in each of the last 2 games. Pages homered in Game 5 as well, so we know we cannot take these guys lightly. Schneider goes down on the 12-6 curve. Huge out for Bradley. And now there's 2 on, 2 away. A big spot for the catcher, Pages. Behind 1-2. That was close. Should it have been called a strike? Maybe it should have. We finally had a call against us. 2-2 on the way. Ball don't lie. Swing and a miss on the outside cutter. Bradley gets out of the 4th as it remains 3-2. I know the runs have come in for the Phillies, but I do feel like Taj Bradley overall has pitched a good game. I mean, he's been able to get himself out of some jams, minus the second inning. He's somewhat limited base runners. As Kyle Teal sends it back up the middle. That goes for a 1-out single, and the White Sox get themselves a runner. We could use some big hits here from the middle of the order. Luis Robert, base hit in his last at-bat. I don't know, maybe we can get another one again? 3-2, swing and a miss. On the high fastball, nice pitch by Keller. 2 away for Edgar Quero. He's given us some big hits this October. How about another one? Quero clubbers it into right center. The White Sox take the lead 4-3. Fifth home run of the postseason for Edgar Quero. I know he's not really playing catcher this postseason, but he's tied for second in terms of home runs by a catcher in a single postseason. The only guy who has more, Kyle Teal. Pretty good company to be included in. Colson Montgomery goes down looking, but we will gladly take this inning. Edgar Quero, a 2-run shot for the lead. The first time we've been up in today's episode as we go to the bottom of the fifth. Trey Turner, top of the order, up for the Phillies. A 3-2 for the shortstop, as this one will get by Quero through a leadoff single into right field. We cannot let them stack base runners, especially for the middle guys in the order, the guys with the power. Miller, Harper, De La Cruz. Luis Garcia, swing and a miss on the 12-6. Great pitch by Bradley. The pitch count is certainly rising. And in a normal circumstance, I don't know how much longer we would have him going. It's at 101. But given that this is his last game of the year, we're going to get everything we can. Rincones strikes out. Turner steals second. He is safe. So now there's 2 outs, but the Phillies have a runner in scoring position. A huge spot for the third baseman, Aiden Miller. Count is even for Miller, 1-1. As this one is jammed into right. Smith comes after it, and he drops the ball! Are you kidding me? Turner scores, and the game is tied. And E9 for Cam Smith, who drops about as easy of a fly ball as you will find. It's not a regular season game in May. It's Game 6 of the World Series. Why are we lollygagging fly balls in right field? We got to get the fan from Game 5 to play the outfield instead. Harper hits it into center. Luis Robert is under it. He'll make the play. The Phillies score an unearned run off of about as embarrassing of an error as you will find. A concentration drop in the outfield by Cam Smith ties this game at 4. In an elimination game where we cannot afford many mistakes since it's close, that mistake could cost us the game. Who knows? Landon Raup out of the bullpen here in the 6th. Look who leads off. Cam Smith tries to make up for it as he jams it into right. How fitting. And it is caught by the second baseman, Garcia. See, Cam, that, my friend, is how you catch the baseball. That will bring up the number 7 hitter, Shane Schmidt. The 2-2. Schmidt gets a high pitch and hits it about as high as a baseball can go. Into center at the track. It is caught by Crawford. Ketel Marte now. He's been good tonight. 2 for 2. But he swings and misses at the circle change. A 1-2-3. Top of the 6th for Landon Raup. We'll go bottom 6. Taj Bradley has pitched pretty well tonight, minus that second inning. We're going to keep him in the game. His leash is certainly low, but as I said, we're going to get everything we can out of him as De La Cruz goes down looking on the cutter. 1 away now for Justin Crawford as the count is full. The 3-2. Crawford 2 for 2 tonight as this one is fouled off down the third base side. Barney Wagner drops the ball! Are you kidding me? That's twice! This is unbelievable. Why does everybody on the defense have butterfingers? Very next pitch, Crawford clobbers it into right center. One hops off the wall. Robert relays it quickly. Crawford to third. Marte, the throw is in time! Ball does not lie. 8-4-5 on the scorecard. Luis Robert does a great job of quickly getting the ball. Marte with the throw over to third. Wagner with the tag on Crawford for the out. That is gigantic. That'll bring up Schneider in what probably will be Bradley's final at bat of the game. Pitch number 127 is a grounder to second. Marte makes the play. Throw to first is in time. 6 innings, 4 runs, 3 earned from Taj Bradley. Was it a perfect performance? No, but it was certainly a gritty one. He got us out of some tough spots. No earned runs come across after the second inning, and he gave us a lot of innings. As we will move into the 7th, Miguel Castro comes out of the bullpen for the Phillies. It'll be the 2 bullpens the rest of the way in a tie game, and we, of course, will not have Taj Bradley for the rest of the World Series, and presumably not Hayden Wisniewski either. So we're going to have to do this without our 2 best starters. Wagner draws a 1-out walk, I guess kind of making up for his almost error in the last inning. Kyle Teal hits in back-to-back at-bats, looking for another. That one is dropped at first by Harper. He could have possibly turned two had he fielded it. Fielded it is not a word. It should be. I feel like the past tense of field should be felled, not fielded. Well, he fielded the ball and tags the base, but we do have a runner in scoring position for Luis Robert, who makes it all 6 World Series games with a walk. That is impressive for a guy who walks like 6 times in a regular calendar month. 2 on, 2 away. What a spot for Edgar Quero, who homered in his last at-bat. I'm not asking for a homer. Give me a base hit. Give me 1. Give me maybe 2 runs. Is that a little bit too much to ask? On the ground, Castro makes the play. Throw to first is in time. 2 more runners left on base. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th, where the White Sox bullpen looks to keep them afloat, potentially win Game 6 and bring us to a winner-take-all Game 7. It'll be Carlos Estevez first for Chicago. We have used him a whole lot in this postseason. His 12th appearance, he really hasn't been that bad, other than the 1 game against the Phillies. Now, if he lets that happen again, then we're probably going to lose the championship, and Carlos Estevez will be the most wanted man alive in the south side of Chicago. Walks Pedro Pages. Not a great start, letting their worst hitter reach base freely with the top of the order coming up. Turner, that one gets away, and Pages makes it over to second. So now the Phillies have a runner in scoring position with nobody out and some of the Phillies' best hitters at the plate. It's going to be a daunting task for Estevez to get out of the inning, but that's a good start. He got Turner. He now gets Luis Garcia on the circle change. All of a sudden, there's 2 away, just like that. Gabriel Rincones, 3-2, swing and a miss. What a pitch. A slider nowhere near the strike zone. Gets him anyway. We remain tied at 4 going into the 8th. We've got 2 innings to keep the season alive. Let's get a couple of runs, and let's let the back end of the bullpen do their thing, with presumably Brock Burke and Ezra Valenzuela set to pitch. I've got a lot of faith in those guys. I just need the offense to give me 1 or 2. Karinchak out of the pen for the Phillies. 5, 6, 7 hitters due up for the White Sox. We'll start with Colson Montgomery, who's a quiet 0 for 3 today, but he draws a walk. Good start. Leadoff man is aboard. Cam Smith has not had a good World Series. He's certainly not had a good game. He can make up for it with a big play here as he pops it up into foul territory. Harper is under it, and he will, unlike Barney Wagner and unlike Cam Smith, make the catch. That'll bring up the 18-year-old rookie, Shane Schmidt, with a swing and a drive! If it's fair, it's gone, and it is! 2-run shot for the rookie! Schmidt puts the White Sox ahead 6-4 here in the top of the 8th. This kid is 18 years old, making huge plays in the World Series. And sure, it has been a rough postseason for him. The moment has looked awfully big. But here, the lights were not too bright. In the biggest at-bat of his life, he comes up big to put the White Sox ahead late in this game. Shane Schmidt crushes that baseball into right field. He's had a really good game throughout the course of the evening, and he puts up the exclamation mark, barely curving that one fair. A 6-4 lead for Chicago, and now it's up to the rest of the team to hold down the fort. Marte grounds it to first. Harper makes the play for the second out. That'll now bring up the 9th hitter, Corey Julks. I would certainly love to add to the lead. I have the utmost faith in the back end of the bullpen to finish off the job, but the more runs, the better. 1-1. This one is blooped over to second, caught by Garcia. Very, very, very successful inning. A 2-run homer for Shane Schmidt. The White Sox lead it 6-4 as Brock Burke comes into the game. His 5th appearance of the World Series. So far, he's been perfect. 4 innings, 0 runs allowed. 4, 5, 6 hitters due up. Aiden Miller up the middle. It's going to be close. Montgomery throw to first. Not in time. An infield single to lead off the inning for the Phillies. Tying run is at the plate with nobody out. It's Bryce Harper, one of the all-time postseason hitters. And he gets another big one. A sinker out of the zone. Goes for a single into center. 2 on, nobody out. Tying runs aboard. Go-ahead run is up. We've got to trust Brock Burke. He's one of our best relievers to dig us out of this hole. Ellie De La Cruz will bunt it. Wagner's going to try to get 2. They get Harper at second. De La Cruz is safe at first. If it was a 1-run game, I think I would bunt it there. But in a 2-run game, probably not. You need more hits. You need more big plays. They do still have 2 runners aboard, though. The 1 run 90 feet away from home. The tying run is still at first, as it's Justin Crawford who's up at the plate. 3 for 3, although he was thrown out in his last at-bat, as he looks at the circle change for ball 2. Crawford with a chance to completely take over this game. A base hit cuts the lead in half. An extra base hit certainly ties the game with Ellie's speed as he looks at the high fastball for strike 2. A home run puts the Phillies ahead, but a ground ball double play ends the inning. I mean, there are so many different scenarios here as Crawford swings and misses at the low slider. What a pitch by Burke, and now there's 2 outs, and the Phillies are going to need Schneider to get on to keep the inning alive. They started the inning with 2 runners aboard. We've stuck by our guy Brock Burke. We believe in him to get out of the inning. Ezra Valenzuela is ready in the bullpen if needed, but I think Burke is the guy who can make the play here as he gets Schneider to swing and miss on the sinker. 2-2. 2-run game. 2 runners on base. 2 away. Swing and a miss! On the inside fastball. Brock Burke nails. He allows 2 early runners, but gets the next 3 as he's fired up. 6-4 lead still going into the 9th with Josh Sborz in for the Phillies. White Sox looking to add to the lead, although we have, again, the utmost trust in Ezra Valenzuela to close out the game. Top of the order's up. We will start with Wagner. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss on the slurve. Good pitch by Sborz for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Kyle Teal now, looking to extend the lead for the White Sox. This one's up the middle, good scoop on the mound. Hesitating to throw it, but he does make the play for the second out. Luis Robert now up for Chicago as he's behind in the count. 1-2. Sborz looks to retire the side as this one is hit high and really deep into center. Crawford at the track, at the wall, it's caught. A 1-2-3 inning, we go to the bottom of the 9th. A 2-run lead for Chicago, 6-4. 9-1-2 hitters due up as the back-to-back all-star closer, Ezra Valenzuela, comes in for the save. We haven't seen much of Ezra in this World Series. He pitched the first 3 innings of Game 4, but otherwise he's only recorded 1 additional out. We're going to need him to finish this game. We're certainly going to see him in Game 7 if we win. As Pajes grounds it to short. Montgomery with a laser to first. There's 1. Still need 2 more. As that'll bring you up the top of the order. Trey Turner behind 1-2. This one is lined into right. Smith is under it. Please don't drop it. Okay, good. Makes the play for the second out of the inning. And it will come down to Luis Garcia. 1-1. High fastball coming in at 97. I cannot imagine being a left-handed hitter watching that fastball or cutter come up and in. Garcia fouls off the curveball towards the first base side. And now the Phillies are down to their final strike. Ezra really mislocated that last pitch, too. And Garcia timed it better. It could have been a big hit. The 2-2. This one goes high into foul territory. Edgar Caro is under it. We are headed to a Game 7. The White Sox win another elimination game. That's 5 for 5 this postseason. When this team's backs are against the wall, they play at their best. 6-4 on the road against the Phillies. And the World Series will come down to 1 game, a Game 7, to determine our champion. This game did not start off well for us, though. We trailed 3-0. The Phillies with an early lead, but we got 2 in the 3rd. A 2-run homer by Caro in the 5th. And the 2-run shot in the 8th by Schmidt to win it. The defense did their best to lose us the game with the Cam Smith drop in the 5th inning, directly leading to a run, to the Barney Wagner drop in the next inning. Taj Bradley's defense usually does not do him many solids, but he pitched well enough, and the bullpen was outstanding in this game. Offense has still got to get more hits. We only had 7, which is not enough. We drew 4 walks, had the 2 home runs. We were better with runners on base. Bradley's numbers are not phenomenal, but I thought he pitched quite well. And then the bullpen was excellent. Burke gets out of the jam. Estevez and Ezra were perfect. 8 hits, 4 walks, 3 RBIs, 3 walks for the Phillies. Their offense wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good enough either. Mitch Keller was okay. He wasn't great, but he wasn't horrible either. So now it all comes down to this. Game 7 of the World Series. The Phillies still have the advantage, though. They're at home. They get to start their ace, George Kirby, who has not pitched in 8 days. That is a lot of rest for a guy in Kirby who wasn't that great in game 1. 5 innings, 3 earned. He was good enough. What are we going to do at pitcher? Wisniewski's not available. Bradley's not available. This would be Bryce Miller's start, but he's been horrible in the postseason. He'll pitch in this game, but we can't expect more than a couple innings out of him. We might see Drew Thorpe. We might see Noah Schultz. We might see Hagen Smith. Another guy we're certainly going to call on a lot of is Ezra Valenzuela out of the bullpen. I don't know how we're going to use him, but we're going to need 3 or 4 innings. Maybe we can get one from Wisniewski. It's possible off of 2 days rest. I would say there's a chance we get an inning from him. We're obviously not going to get anything from Bradley, but maybe Wisniewski, certainly the other starters, and obviously the rest of the bullpen. Game 7 premiering this Friday. Will the White Sox win the World Series, or will we have to go back to the drawing board for another offseason? Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Peace out.